What's up, guys? Backyard Bassing back with you today. Today we're going to go over deep crankbaits. It's a pretty good technique to use during the summer. The only problem with that is everybody likes to do it. So you need to step outside the box and kind of look around and see what everybody's not throwing. Color selection, stuff like that. Anything to be different. But they do work, and they work very, very well. Just to kind of show you guys a little bit of what I throw. Um, Depending on how deep the water is, this is a Norman DD22. This is actually probably the first deep crankbait I ever bought. I got this down at Kentucky Lake. We were fishing tournament down there. We were actually on a good ledge bite. Um, they were out anywhere from about 12 to 16 foot of water. On the Normans, they only dive to about 18 foot is the max on these. And I will tell you, it's hard to keep it down at 18 foot. By the time you throw out and get it down to where you need it, you know, you've got a very, very short span of where you're coming through. So I would suggest anytime you're going to do any kind of deep cranking, go with about an 8-foot rod, something you can really bomb out there a long way so it can cover a little bit more on the bottom of what you're fishing. But anyway, what I was going to say is we were fishing these ledges. Like I said, they're about 12 to 16 foot deep. So the Norman DD22 is perfect. Like I said, it was the first time I ever threw it, and it worked very, very well. I was throwing it back then. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I'm sure I probably had it on like 15-pound line or something, or even 17-pound fluoro. But the problem I ran into was keeping it down there when I got off the little bit deeper side. That was a big issue with that bigger line, I can tell you. Pretty much everything I throw now is usually going to be on about 12-pound fluorocarbon. And the reason being is it's smaller diameter. It gets down through the water, cuts through easier, and you can hold it down there a little easier than you can with that bigger line. But when I throw my bigger crankbaits, and when I'm talking bigger crankbaits, we'll go into just this one here. This is the live target bait ball. This is like a TDD 90, I think is what it is. Yeah, 90. This one here actually goes only down to about 12 foot. But this thing, I can tell you, it's heavy. It's a full 1 ounce. It might even be a little bit heavier than 1 ounce. I don't remember exactly what it was. But these things are pretty heavy, pretty big, kind of awkward. I don't care for throwing this on 12-pound fluoro. It's just so heavy. I'm afraid that anytime I'm going to snap it too hard trying to throw it, I'm going to snap my line or something like that. So on these, I actually go with a 15-pound or even a 17-pound, depending on what kind of cover I'm fishing down there. You know, a lot of times you're going to look for rock piles, sandbars, gravel bars that are out in the middle, ledges, stuff like that. So you're going to be rooting around some pretty heavy duty stuff down there. So you want to make sure you're set up right with the right equipment. This is actually the green ghost color. I've had pretty good luck with this. There's a couple of lakes around me that are not real deep. I'm talking they're on average about 8 to 12 foot. So that's a lot of times that's when I'm going to take this one. I can get down and hit probably 90% of that lake. There are a few deeper holes, but you know I'll put on a deeper crankbait for that if I find schools over there. But it's not very likely that you do. So on to the next one. This is probably going to be one of everybody's favorites here. This is the Strike King, the 6XD. This one actually goes up to, I think, 19 foot. 18 or 19 foot is, I think, the specs on it. And like I said, guys, I'll link all this stuff down below so you don't have to go looking for it or nothing like that. But this came out a couple years ago. Then they come out with the 10XDs, the 8XDs. I mean, these things have blown up the market. But they're great crankbaits. They're durable. They got good bills on them. I don't know if you guys can see there, but that bill is so chewed up on there. I throw this thing all the time. It's a great crankbait. They come out with pretty decent hooks. I'm not going to say great, but they're pretty decent hooks straight out of the package. So that may be something you want to keep in mind there. If you do a lot of crankbaiting like that, you might want to check out like the owner hooks and stuff like that. But switch those out. But that's 6XD. Like I said, it gets down to, like I said, 18, 19 foot. Holds down there pretty easy. Like I said, I throw that one on the 12-pound fluorocarbon. I don't ever go up to like the 15 or 17. Now, if I'm going to do the 10XD, that's when I jump up to that line size. Like I said, it's a lot heavier lure. I think they're an ounce or ounce and a half. I don't remember exactly what they were, but Like I said, I'll leave a link down below for them. But you guys check those out. Like I said, that's a really good lure right there too. Um, Back to a while ago, what I was talking about is being different on the water with different lakes and stuff like that, and don't throw everything that everybody else throws. Um, this right here, this is the back splatter. This is the Norman DD22. Um, I see so many people throwing this black splatter all the time. This one, um, this one right here, it's more. I just consider this like a sexy shad color. When they come out with that sexy shad color, that's kind of what it mirrors on all the baits. They're all pretty close to the exact same thing, or blue back with chartreuse. But those two are probably your two most common colors that I see people throw, or any kind of like shad color. Um, but think outside the box on that. Get you a different color. I'm gonna say get you something that's a really really bright chartreuse, maybe with a black back, or a blue back or something like that, but a big bright bold color. Number one, you're going to be down there, let's just say anywhere from 16 to 25 foot. Get down there, you want something bright and bold they can see, they can pick up on coming from a long way away, and throw something that not everybody else is throwing, which I know it's easier said than done. But look for them bigger, brighter, bolder colors. Even an all white will work sometimes. I don't see a whole lot of guys throwing all white crankbaits too much anymore. That used to be a big thing on Kentucky Lake. There's a guy I talked to down there. That is his go-to crankbait. I don't know how many crankbaits he has, but they're all white. I mean, there's no difference to them. They're just white. And he kills them down there all the time. I mean, just amazes me. But, I've tried throwing a couple of them. I've had a little bit of luck with it. I'm not going to say I haven't caught anything on them, but they work very well, and they work really good for him. So he's got a lot of confidence in it and throws them all the time and does very well with them. So, let's keep that in mind. Something else you guys want to think about too, when throwing deep crankbaits and you're fishing out on these, lakes, or, it may even be a small lake that's got a deep spot in it or whatever. Just keep an eye. You want to look for that rock pile. You want to look for any kind of hard bottom down there. Don't be throwing these in mud bottoms. All you're going to do is just stir up the bottom. Those fish are not going to be able to go and find that thing through that cloud of mud and everything else that you're stirring up down there. So keep in mind, get around rock, get around an old ledge, rock ledge, something like that. Even bluff walls will work sometimes. There's a local lake that's pretty close to me. It's got a few bluff walls that drop off. I think most of them are right at about 40-something foot deep. But I can look on my side imaging and I can actually see where it comes out, drops down to about 16 or 17 foot, and there's a ledge down there that comes out about a foot or two, and then drops off again, and then a couple more ledges right there. Those bass will hang around right there on them ledge drop-offs. That's where they're at. They get in there, they hide real good. They can watch bait fish come over the top of them, and as soon as they come over the top of them, they jump up and grab them. So essentially, you're doing the exact same thing with that crankbait. Run it down that side of that bluff wall and bring it along that ledge. And when that thing comes off that ledge and dives down, man, them bass will be right there. They're going to hammer it. So, and it's a fun bite to fish with too. I can tell you that. Sorry I didn't get your guys' video out Thursday. Had a lot of stuff going on. Just kind of recap a little bit what happened on this weekend. Tackle Junkie 81 and a wadded fishing and myself all went fishing. Had a little lake. We did do some footage on it. I'll be honest with you guys, it was not worth uploading. We didn't catch a whole lot of fish. It was a very, very tough bite. It's getting into that summer bite to where you're not going to catch a whole lot, depending on where you're at. The fish are just kind of chilled out. The couple fish we were catching, they were pretty skinny, I can say that. There were nothing great. We didn't catch any big ones. I think wadded fishing probably had the biggest fish there, and it was only maybe 1.5 pounds. And that was right off the bat in the morning. And like I said, we only caught a few. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't really worth it. But it's a fun day of fishing. That's all I care about. So make sure you guys go over to Tackle Junkie 81's page this evening. It is Sunday. He's going to do his live show. Does it every Sunday at 7 o'clock. Give him some support. I know he supports my channel quite a bit, and I appreciate him. So, go over there if you haven't checked him out already and give him a shout out and watch the live show. It's well worth it. So, I'm going to get off here, guys, and I will see you next time. If you guys have anything in particular you want to talk about or go over, or baits, one of the reviews, or some reels or rods or something, leave me a comment down below and let me know. So, Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that like button, and I'll see you guys again next time.